The rich son returned from abroad and found his elderly mother imprisoned in her own house. The taxi pulled up to the house on Flores Street at 4:37 in the afternoon on a Wednesday in late March. Diego Morales stepped out, paid the driver, and stood on the sidewalk looking at the place where he had grown up. 12 years. He had been gone for 12 years. And in that time, the house had changed. It was bigger, or at least it looked bigger. The old chain-link fence had been replaced with wrought iron, black, expensive looking. The yard that used to be dirt and weeds was now grass, real grass, green and neatly trimmed. There were flower beds, a paved driveway, a new roof with Spanish tiles instead of the corrugated metal he remembered. The house itself had been repainted, cream with dark brown trim, new windows, a proper front door, wooden, carved, with a brass knocker, instead of the hollow metal one that used to rattle in the wind. Diego felt something complicated in his chest. Pride, maybe. He had done this. His money had done this. 12 years of working construction in Dallas. 12 years of sending money home every single month. $600, sometimes more, never less. 12 years of living in a cramped apartment with 3 roommates, of eating cheap food and wearing old clothes and never taking vacations, of saving every penny that didn't go toward rent and basic necessities, of working overtime and weekends and holidays. Also, his mother and sister could have a better life, so they wouldn't have to struggle the way they had when he was growing up. So his mother could retire from cleaning houses, and his sister could finish school, and maybe they could live with some dignity. And it had worked. The house proved it. His sacrifices had meant something. Diego grabbed his duffel bag from where the taxi driver had set it on the sidewalk. He hadn't told anyone he was coming, hadn't called ahead, hadn't sent a message. He wanted it to be a surprise. Wanted to see the look on his mother's face when he walked through that door after 12 years. 12 years was too long. He knew that. Knew he should have come back sooner, visited at least once, but there was always a reason not to. Work, money, immigration status. He had overstayed his visa, and going back to Mexico meant not being able to return to the US easily. Fear that if he stopped working, stopped sending money, everything would fall apart. But last month he had finally gotten his papers sorted, had hired a lawyer, had gone through the process, was now legal, could travel, could come home. So here he was. Surprise. He walked up the new driveway, noticed the details, the decorative stones lining the flower beds, the solar lights along the path, the doorbell, an actual doorbell, not just knocking, with a little camera above it. He pressed it. Heard the chime inside. Fancy, musical. Footsteps approached. The door opened. A woman stood there. It took Diego a moment to recognize her. Carmen, his younger sister. But she looked so different. She had been 19 when he left. A girl, skinny and awkward in second-hand clothes. Now she was 31, a woman, and not just any woman. She was wearing designer jeans, a silk blouse, gold jewelry, a necklace, bracelets, rings. Her hair was professionally done. Her nails were manicured. She looked like she had just stepped out of a salon. She looked rich. Diego. Her voice came out strangled, shocked. Surprise, he said, smiling. I'm home. Carmen didn't smile back, didn't move, didn't invite him in. She just stood there, frozen, her face cycling through expressions too fast to read. Surprise, fear, something that might have been panic. What are you doing here? She finally asked. Not I'm so happy to see you, or I can't believe it's really you, or any of the things Diego had imagined she might say. Just, what are you doing here? In a tone that sounded almost accusatory. I came to visit, to see you and Mama. Is that okay? You didn't call, you didn't say you were coming. I wanted it to be a surprise. Can I come in? Carmen hesitated. Actually hesitated. like she was considering saying no. Then she stepped aside, opening the door just wide enough for him to squeeze through. Diego walked into the house. It was even more impressive inside. New furniture, a large flat-screen TV, tile floors instead of the cracked linoleum he remembered. Air conditioning. He could feel the cool air, could hear the unit humming. Paintings on the walls, real paintings, not just cheap prints. A chandelier in the entry hall. His money had paid for all of this. Every piece of furniture, every tile, every improvement. 12 years of $600 a month, sometimes $800, sometimes $1,000 when he worked extra shifts. $86,000. That's how much he had sent home over 12 years. Give or take. He had kept track, had receipts for every wire transfer, had a spreadsheet on his computer documenting every payment. $86,000, so his mother and sister could live well, could be comfortable, could have the life they deserved. And they had used it well. The house was proof. The place looks amazing, Diego said, setting down his duffel bag. You and Mama did such a great job fixing it up. Carmen didn't respond. She was standing by the door, arms crossed, looking at him like he was an intruder, like he was someone who didn't belong here. Where's Mama? Diego asked. Is she here? I can't wait to see her. She's resting. She's not feeling well. What's wrong? Is she sick? No, just tired. She needs her rest. Can I see her just for a minute? I came all this way. Diego, maybe you should have called first. This isn't a good time. Diego stared at his sister. Something was wrong. He could feel it. The way she was standing, the way she wasn't meeting his eyes, the tension in her voice. Carmen, what's going on? Nothing, I told you. Mama is resting. You should come back later, or tomorrow, when she's feeling better. I flew 2,400 miles to be here. I'm not leaving without seeing my mother. Diego, where is she? Carmen's jaw tightened. I told you. She's resting. In her room. Yes. Then I'll go say hello. I won't wake her if she's sleeping. I'll just look in on her. Diego moved toward the hallway that led to the bedrooms. Carmen stepped in front of him. You can't go back there. Why not? Because I said so. This is my house and I'm telling you to leave her alone. Diego stopped, looked at his sister. Really looked. At the expensive clothes and the jewelry, and the way she was blocking the hallway, like she was guarding something. Your house? He repeated. This is Mama's house. I've been sending money for 12 years to help her. To help both of you. It's her house. The deed is in my name. I took care of everything. I managed the money. I made the improvements. It's my house now. But the money I sent was for the family, and I used it for the family, for improvements, for a better life. Look around, Diego. Look at what I built. Something cold settled in Diego's stomach. Where is Mama, Carmen? I told you. She's resting. Show me. No. Show me, or I'm calling the police. Carmen's eyes flashed. Fear and anger and something else. Something that looked like desperation. You can't just come in here and make demands. You left. You've been gone for 12 years. You don't get to show up and act like you own the place. I don't want to own anything. I just want to see my mother. Why won't you let me see her? They stood facing each other in the hallway, sister and brother. Strangers now. 12 years had turned them into strangers. Then Diego heard it. A sound, faint, coming from somewhere in the back of the house. A scratching, like something or someone was trying to get attention. He pushed past Carmen. She grabbed his arm, but he shook her off. Walked down the hallway, past the first bedroom, empty, clean, looked like a guest room. Past the second bedroom, Carmen's obviously, clothes everywhere, more expensive things, to the third bedroom, the one that used to be his mother's. The door was closed, and there was a padlock on it, a heavy-duty padlock on the outside. Diego's blood went cold. Carmen, he said, his voice deadly quiet. Why is there a lock on Mama's door? Diego, let me explain. Open it. Now. It's not what you think. Open the door. His voice echoed through the house. Carmen flinched. Then she pulled a key from her pocket. Her hands were shaking. She unlocked the padlock, removed it, stepped back. Diego opened the door. The smell hit him first. Stale air, unwashed bodies, something that might have been urine. The room was dark. The window had been covered with something, cardboard or wood, blocking out all the light. He fumbled for a light switch, found it, flipped it on. A bare bulb hanging from the ceiling flickered to life, weak, barely 40 watts, but enough to see. The room was small, maybe 10 feet by 10 feet. There was a mattress on the floor, thin, stained, no bed frame, a bucket in the corner that was obviously being used as a toilet, a plastic cup, an empty plate with dried food on it, and in the corner, huddled against the wall, was his mother, Elvira Morales, 68 years old, or she should have been 68. The woman Diego was looking at seemed ancient, impossibly old, impossibly small. She was wearing a nightgown that was filthy. Her hair, once thick and black, now white and thin, hung in matted clumps around her face. Her skin was pale, almost grey. Her eyes were sunken. Her cheeks were hollow. Her arms were thin as sticks. She looked up when the light came on, squinted against the brightness, raised one skeletal hand to shield her eyes. "Carmen," she whispered. Her voice was hoarse, barely audible. "Is it morning? Can I have water?" Diego couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process what he was seeing. His mother. His mother, who he had been sending money to for 12 years. His mother, who was supposed to be living comfortably. His mother, who Carmen said was just resting. His mother was locked in this room, this tiny, dark, filthy room, like an animal, like something less than human. "Mama," he said. The word came out broken. Elvira's head turned toward his voice. She squinted, trying to see who was speaking. "Who's there?" "It's me, Mama. It's Diego." She went very still. "Diego?" "Yes, Mama. I'm here. I came home." "Diego," she said again, like she was testing the word, like she couldn't quite believe it. Then her face crumpled and she started to cry. "Diego, my Diego, you came back." He crossed the room in 3 steps, dropped to his knees beside her, pulled her into his arms. She felt like nothing, like she weighed nothing at all, just bones and skin and trembling sobs. "I'm here," he whispered into her hair. "I'm here, Mama. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Behind him, Carmen was speaking, making excuses, explaining. She got confused, started wondering. "I had to keep her safe. I was just protecting her. The doctor said it was better this way. I was just—" Diego turned around, still holding his mother. His voice when he spoke was colder than he had ever heard it, colder than he thought he was capable of. "Get out! Diego, you don't understand! Get out!" Carmen backed away, stumbled into the hallway. Diego kicked the door shut, locked it from the inside. Then he turned back to his mother. "Let me look at you, Mama. Let me see if you're hurt." She was still crying, her whole body shaking with sobs. "You came back. I prayed you would come back. Every day I prayed. I'm here now. I'm going to take care of you. But I need to see if you're hurt. Can you stand?" "I don't know. I haven't stood in... I don't know how long." Diego felt rage building in his chest, hot, violent, barely controlled. "How long have you been in this room, Mama?" "I don't know. A long time. Months, maybe years. I don't know anymore." Years! The word hit him like a physical blow. He had been sending money home for 12 years, working himself to exhaustion, living in poverty, sacrificing everything. And his sister had been using that money to imprison their mother. 12 years earlier. Diego stood in the living room of the small house on Flores Street, looking at his mother and sister. His duffel bag was packed. His bus ticket to Tijuana was in his pocket. From there, he would cross the border, would disappear into California, would make his way to Dallas, where his cousin had promised him work. "I don't want you to go," Elvira said. She was crying, had been crying all morning. "You're my son, my only son. How can I let you go so far away?" "I have to, Mama. There's no work here, no future. If I stay, I'll end up like Papa, working myself to death for nothing, dying with nothing to show for it." His father had died 2 years ago, heart attack at 53, had worked in construction his whole life, had nothing to leave his family except this tiny house and debt. So much debt. Diego had dropped out of school at 16 to work, had helped his mother pay off the debts, had worked every job he could find, but it was never enough, never would be enough. Not here. In America, I can make real money. I can send it home. You and Carmen can live well, can fix up the house, can stop working so hard. Elvira was a housekeeper, cleaned rich people's homes for a pittance, came home every day exhausted, her knees aching, her hands red from chemicals. She was 56 but looked 70. "What about Carmen?" Elvira asked. "Who will watch out for her?" Carmen was 19, pretty but aimless. Had finished high school but had no plans, no job, spent her days with friends, coming home late, asking for money Diego didn't have to give. "Carmen will take care of you," Diego said, though he wasn't entirely sure he believed it. "She's an adult now. She needs to step up, and I'll send money every month. I promise." He meant it, every word. He would work hard, save money, send it home, make sure his mother never had to clean another toilet, make sure Carmen had opportunities he never did. He would sacrifice. That's what sons did. They sacrificed for their families. Carmen stood in the doorway, arms crossed. She hadn't said much all morning, hadn't cried like their mother, just watched with an expression Diego couldn't read. "You're really leaving?" she said. Not a question, a statement. "I have to." "For how long?" "I don't know. A few years, maybe. However long it takes to make enough money to come back and start something here. And you'll send money?" "Every month, I promise." Carmen nodded. "Okay then, go, make your money. We'll be fine." There was something in her voice, something that made Diego uneasy, but he pushed the feeling away. She was his sister, his family. She would take care of their mother, would use the money wisely, would make their lives better. He had to believe that, had to trust that. Otherwise, what was the point of leaving? He hugged his mother, held her while she cried, promised her again that he would send money, that he would call, that he would come back. He hugged Carmen. She stood stiff in his arms. "Take care of Mama," he said. "I will," she promised. He believed her. Present-day Diego carried his mother out of the room. She weighed almost nothing. Couldn't have been more than 80 pounds. Her nightgown hung on her like a shroud. He took her to the bathroom. The nice bathroom with the new fixtures and the tile floors that his money had paid for, set her gently on the closed toilet seat. "I'm going to run you a bath, Mama. Get you clean. Is that okay?" She nodded, still crying. Couldn't seem to stop crying. He ran the water, warm but not too hot, added soap, found clean towels in the cabinet, expensive, fluffy towels. Everything in this house was expensive, everything except the care his mother had received. "Can you undress yourself, or do you need help?" "I can do it," she whispered. He stepped out, gave her privacy, stood in the hallway with his hands clenched into fists, trying not to punch a hole in the wall, trying not to go find Carmen, and no, he couldn't think like that. Had to stay calm. Had to take care of his mother first. Everything else could wait. He heard splashing, water running, then his mother's voice. "Diego, I'm in." He went back in. She was sitting in the tub, the water up to her shoulders, so thin, her ribs showing, her collarbones sharp as knives, bruises on her arms, sores on her back from lying on that thin mattress. How long has it been since you had a proper bath? He asked, keeping his voice gentle. I don't know. Carmen would bring water in a bucket sometimes, let me wash with a cloth, but a real bath, I don't remember. Diego grabbed a washcloth, soaped it up. Let me help you. He washed her back gently, carefully, like she was made of glass, which she might as well have been. She looked like she would shatter at the slightest pressure. Tell me what happened, Mama. Tell me everything. Elvira was quiet for a long moment. Then she started talking. Her voice was soft, halting, like she was afraid to speak, afraid of what might happen if she did. It started small. After you left, Carmen was supposed to take care of me, to use the money you sent to fix up the house, to help me. But she started keeping it for herself. How long after I left? Maybe a year. At first she would give me some, enough for food, for bills. But she would keep the rest, buy things for herself, clothes, jewelry. She said she deserved it, said she was young and she shouldn't have to live like a poor person just because you were gone. Diego's jaw was tight. And you let her? What choice did I have? She controlled the money. You sent it to her account. Not mine. I couldn't stop her. That was true. Diego had set up the wire transfers to go to Carmen, had trusted her to distribute the money fairly, to take care of their mother, had never imagined she would steal it. Then I got sick, Elvira continued. About 5 years ago. Pneumonia. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. When I came home, I was weak, needed help. Carmen said she would take care of me, but instead she stopped, started crying again. Diego waited. Let her take her time. She said I was too much trouble, that taking care of me was keeping her from living her life. She said if I couldn't take care of myself, I needed to stay in my room, out of the way. And she locked you in. At first, just at night, so I wouldn't wander. I was confused sometimes from the medication. Then it was during the day, too. Then it was all the time. She would bring me food once a day, let me out to use the bathroom once a day. Then she stopped even doing that. Put a bucket in the room, started bringing food every other day, then less. How long has it been like this? The locked room, the darkness? I don't know. Time stopped meaning anything. Months blur together. Maybe 2 years, maybe 3. I stopped counting. 3 years. His mother had been locked in that room for 3 years, while he was sending money every month, while Carmen was using that money to renovate the house, to buy expensive clothes and jewelry, to live well, while their mother starved in the dark. Did you try to get help? To contact anyone? How? She took my phone. I couldn't call, couldn't write. The windows were covered. I couldn't signal anyone. And who would I signal anyway? The neighbors think I moved away. Carmen told everyone I went to live with family in another city. Why didn't you scream, make noise? I did. At first, I screamed until my voice gave out, but the house is far from the neighbors, and Carmen told them I was crazy, that I had dementia, that I made noise sometimes, but it didn't mean anything. They believed her. Why wouldn't they? She looked so put together, so respectable. Who would believe her mother was locked in a room? Diego's hands were shaking. I'm going to kill her. No. Elvira grabbed his arm with surprising strength. No, Diego, you can't. She's your sister, your family. She locked you in a room for 3 years. She stole from you, from me. She let you starve. She's not family. She's a monster. She's still your sister, still my daughter. Please, Diego, I know you're angry. I'm angry too. But violence won't fix this. It will only make things worse. Diego wanted to argue, wanted to say that Carmen deserved whatever he did to her. But he looked at his mother, frail, broken, terrified, and he knew she was right. Violence wouldn't fix this, wouldn't undo the damage, wouldn't give his mother back the 3 years she lost. He took a breath, let it out slowly. Okay, Mama. Okay. No violence. But I'm calling the police. She's going to pay for this. She's going to face consequences. What if they don't believe you? What if she convinces them I'm crazy, that you're lying? Then we'll make them believe. We'll show them the room, the lock, your condition. We'll prove it. Elvira nodded. Tired, so tired. Okay, after the bath, after I'm clean. Then we can call. Diego helped her wash her hair. The water turned grey with dirt. He drained the tub and filled it again. Washed her hair a second time, then a third, until the water ran clear. He helped her out of the tub, wrapped her in towels, found clean clothes in what must have been her old room before Carmen locked her away. A simple dress, soft, comfortable. She looked better clean, still terrifyingly thin, still weak, but more like a person, less like a ghost. I need to eat something, she said. I'm so hungry, Diego. I'm always so hungry. When did Carmen last bring you food? Yesterday morning. Bread and water. That's usually what she brings. Sometimes beans, sometimes rice. Never very much. Diego's vision went red. Bread and water. Like a prisoner. Like someone who didn't deserve real food. Come on, he said. Let's get you fed. Then we're calling the police. He helped her walk to the kitchen. She moved slowly. Her legs were weak from lack of use, from malnutrition. But she walked, held onto his arm, one step at a time. The kitchen was beautiful, all new appliances, granite countertops, a refrigerator that was bigger than the entire kitchen used to be. Diego opened it. It was fully stocked. Expensive food, cheese, meats, fresh vegetables, wine, everything. While his mother had eaten bread and water, he made her a simple meal, scrambled eggs, toast, a glass of milk, nothing too heavy, didn't want to make her sick. She ate slowly, carefully, like she was afraid the food would be taken away, like she couldn't quite believe it was real. This is so good, she said between bites, tears running down her face. I forgot food could taste like this. Diego sat across from her, watched her eat, tried to contain the rage that was threatening to consume him. Carmen had done this. His sister. The girl he had worked 12 years to support. The girl he had trusted to take care of their mother. Where was she now? He realized he hadn't seen her since he'd told her to get out of the room, hadn't heard her moving around the house. Had she left, run away, or was she still here, hiding somewhere, trying to figure out what to do? As if in answer to his thought, he heard a door close. Footsteps. Carmen appeared in the kitchen doorway. She had changed clothes, was wearing a jacket, had a purse over her shoulder, keys in her hand. I'm leaving, she announced. You can't keep me here. This is my house. My name is on the deed. You have no right to come in here and... Sit down, Carmen. I don't have to listen to you. Sit down! His voice was a roar. Carmen flinched, but she didn't sit, didn't move. Diego stood up, crossed the kitchen in 2 strides, took the keys from her hand. She tried to pull them back, but he held tight. You're not going anywhere. Not until the police get here. You're calling the police. For what? I didn't do anything wrong. She needed to be kept safe. She was wondering. She was confused. I was protecting her. You locked her in a dark room for 3 years. You stole the money I sent. You let her starve. You abused her. And you're telling me you didn't do anything wrong. It was my money. You sent it to me. I could do whatever I wanted with it. I sent it for Mama, to take care of her, to make sure she had a good life, not so you could buy designer clothes and renovate the house while she lived in a prison. Carmen's face twisted. Anger and defiance, and something that might have been shame. You don't understand. I gave up my life to take care of her, my entire 20s. While my friends were going out having fun, living their lives, I was stuck here with her. You got to leave. You got to go to America, make money, be free. What did I get? Nothing. Just an old woman who needed constant care. So you locked her in a room. She was impossible, always asking for things, always needing something. I couldn't have a life, couldn't go out, couldn't have friends over. She was always there, always demanding attention. She's your mother, and she's your mother too, but you weren't here. You left. You abandoned us and sent money and thought that made everything okay. Well, it didn't. Money doesn't fix everything, Diego. Money doesn't replace a son who's actually here, who actually helps. The words hit harder than Diego expected, because there was truth in them. He had left, had chosen money over presence, had thought sending $600 a month absolved him of actual responsibility, but that didn't excuse what Carmen had done, didn't justify it. "You're right," he said quietly. "I left, and maybe that was wrong. Maybe I should have found another way. But I left to help, to provide, to make all our lives better. What did you do? You stole, you abused, you imprisoned your own mother. There's no excuse for that, no justification." Carmen's defiance crumbled. She started crying. "I didn't mean for it to get this bad. It started small. Keeping her in her room at night, then during the day, then all the time. And once it started, I couldn't stop, couldn't admit what I was doing, couldn't face it. So you just kept going, kept stealing, kept lying. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Diego looked at her. This stranger who used to be his sister, who used to play games with him as a kid, who used to laugh and joke and be family. She was still family, technically, but she was also a criminal, an abuser, someone who had tortured their mother for years. He didn't know how to reconcile those two things. "The police are coming," he said. "You're going to face charges. You know that, right?" "I know. And I'm not going to help you, not going to bail you out, not going to hire you a lawyer. You're on your own." "I know." She sat down at the kitchen table, put her head in her hands, cried. Diego called the police, explained the situation. They said they would send someone right away. Then he sat down next to his mother, took her hand. She was still eating, slowly, savoring every bite. "It's going to be okay, Mama. I'm here now. I'm going to take care of you. I'm never leaving again." She looked at him with eyes that were both grateful and sad. "You can't stay forever, Diego. You have a life. In America. You have to go back." "No, I'm done with America. I'm done leaving you. I'm staying right here, where I should have been all along. But your job, I'll find another job. Here, in Mexico. I don't need to be in Dallas. I don't need to be rich. I just need to be with my family. With you." Elvira started crying again. But this time they were different tears. Relief, maybe. Or joy. Or just the overwhelming emotion of having her son back after 12 years. They sat together in the kitchen, mother and son, waiting for the police, waiting for whatever came next. Carmen sat across from them, head still in her hands, crying quietly. And Diego thought about choices, about sacrifices, about the difference between sending money and actually showing up. He had thought he was being a good son, sending money home, providing, making sacrifices. But he had missed the most important thing, the thing money couldn't buy: presence, being there, actually caring for the people you love instead of just paying someone else to do it. He had learned that lesson too late, but at least he had learned it. And he would spend the rest of his life making up for the 12 years he lost, for the trust he misplaced, for the mother who suffered while he was far away. He would never leave again. 3 years. Earlier, Carmen stood in the doorway of her mother's bedroom, looking at the woman who had become such a burden. Elvira was sitting in bed, reading. She looked up when Carmen entered. "Did you need something, Micha?" "We need to talk about money," Carmen said. "What about it?" "Diego's payment came in today. $600 like always. But it's not enough anymore, Mama. The bills keep going up. Food costs more. Everything costs more." This was a lie. The bills were the same. Food didn't cost more. Carmen just wanted more money for herself, for the things she wanted, the life she deserved. "We'll manage," Elvira said. "We always do. I don't want to just manage. I want to live. I want nice things. I'm 30 years old and I have nothing. No husband, no children, no career. Just you and this house and Diego's money." "Carmen, don't talk like that. You have a good life. You're healthy. You have a roof over your head. Family who loves you." "Love doesn't pay for the things I want. Love doesn't get me out of this town. Love doesn't give me the life I see on Instagram, the life everyone else has. So what do you want me to do?" "I want you to understand. I'm going to start keeping more of the money. For myself, you'll still have enough for food and basic needs, but I need to start living my life." Elvira's face fell. "But Diego sends that money for both of us. For the house, for our future. Diego sends the money to my account, which makes it mine, to do with as I please. Carmen, I'm not discussing this. I'm telling you, this is how it's going to be." And that was the beginning. The first step down a path that would lead to a locked door and a dark room and 3 years of imprisonment. Carmen didn't plan it, didn't wake up one day and decide to torture her mother. It just happened, one decision at a time, one choice that led to another choice that led to another. Keep more money. Keep all the money. Limit Mama's food, so she'll eat less and cost less. Move her to the smaller bedroom so I can have the master. Lock the door at night so she won't wander. Lock it during the day too. Cover the window so neighbors won't see. Stop letting her out at all. Each step seemed reasonable at the time, necessary, justified, until she looked back one day and realized she had become a monster. But by then, it was too late to stop. Too late to admit what she had done. Too late to fix it. So she kept going. Kept lying to Diego when he called. Kept telling him Mama was fine, was healthy, was living well. Kept taking his money and using it for herself. And she told herself it was okay. That Mama had lived her life. That it was Carmen's turn now. That she deserved this. She almost believed it. Present day. The police arrived 40 minutes after Diego called. 2 officers, a man and a woman, both middle-aged, both with the weary expressions of people who had seen too much. Diego showed them the room. The padlock, the bucket, the mattress, the covered window. He showed them his mother, still too thin, still bearing the marks of 3 years of confinement. He showed them the wire transfer records on his phone. $86,000 sent over 12 years, all to Carmen's account. He showed them the house, the expensive renovations, the designer furniture, the contrast between what his mother had lived with and what Carmen had bought with his money. The officers took notes, took photographs, asked questions. Carmen sat on the couch, handcuffed, saying nothing. She had stopped crying, had gone very still, very quiet, like she had retreated somewhere inside herself where none of this could touch her. "We'll need to take her in," the male officer said to Diego. "She'll be charged with elder abuse, theft, possibly more depending on what the investigation turns up." "What happens to my mother?" Diego asked. "She'll need to see a doctor, get a full medical examination. We'll have social services involved. They'll make sure she gets the care she needs. I'll take care of her. She doesn't need social services. She has me." The female officer looked at him with kind eyes. "I understand you want to help, but your mother has been severely traumatized. She's going to need professional help, medical care, therapy. You can be part of that, but you can't do it alone." Diego nodded, knew she was right, knew his mother needed more than he could give. "Okay, whatever she needs, I'll make sure she gets it." They took Carmen away. She didn't look at Diego as they led her out, didn't look at their mother, just walked with her head down, handcuffed to the police car. Diego watched through the window as they drove away. Felt nothing, no satisfaction, no relief, just emptiness. After the police left, Diego called an ambulance for his mother. She needed to go to the hospital, needed to be examined, needed IV fluids and nutrition and care he couldn't provide. While they waited, he sat with her on the couch, held her hand. "I'm sorry I didn't come sooner, Mama. If I had known—" "You didn't know. How could you? Carmen lied to you, lied to everyone. I should have visited, should have checked on you myself, should have done more than just send money. You were working. You were trying to help. You didn't know this would happen. Still, I should have been here." Elvira squeezed his hand. "You're here now. That's what matters." The ambulance arrived. Paramedics came in with a stretcher, checked Elvira's vital signs, looked concerned at her weight, her blood pressure, her general condition. "We're taking her to County General," one of them said. "She needs immediate care. Are you family?" "I'm her son. You can ride with us if you want." Diego climbed into the ambulance with his mother, held her hand as they drove through the streets of his hometown. Streets he hadn't seen in 12 years, streets that looked familiar and foreign at the same time. At the hospital, they admitted Elvira immediately, hooked her up to IVs, ran tests. A doctor came in, young, efficient, concerned. "Your mother is severely malnourished," she said to Diego. "Dehydrated. She has bed sores that are infected, possible kidney damage from the malnutrition. We're going to need to keep her here for at least a week, maybe longer. Whatever she needs. Money is no object." The doctor nodded. "We'll take good care of her, but I have to tell you the psychological damage may be worse than the physical. 3 years of isolation and abuse. That's traumatic. She's going to need therapy, long-term support. She'll get it, I promise." Diego stayed at the hospital all night, sat in a chair next to his mother's bed, watched her sleep, the IVs dripping, the monitors beeping, her chest rising and falling with each breath. She looked so small in the hospital bed, so fragile, like she might disappear if he looked away. He had come home expecting to surprise his family, to see his mother healthy and happy, to see the results of his 12 years of sacrifice. Instead, he had found a nightmare, a betrayal, a sister who had become a monster, a mother who had suffered in silence while he worked thousands of miles away, and he didn't know how to fix it, didn't know how to undo the damage, didn't know how to make things right. All he knew was that he wasn't leaving again, wasn't going back to Dallas, wasn't sending money from a distance while assuming everything was fine. He was staying, right here, for as long as his mother needed him, for as long as it took to help her heal. 2 weeks later, Elvira was released from the hospital after 8 days. She had gained 5 pounds. The infections were clearing up. The doctors said she was recovering well physically. Psychologically was another story. She was afraid of closed doors, afraid of the dark, had panic attacks when left alone. The trauma ran deep. Diego rented an apartment, 2 bedrooms, nothing fancy but clean and bright with windows that let in lots of light. He set up 1 bedroom for his mother, made sure she could see outside, made sure the door had no lock, made sure she felt safe. He hired a nurse to help during the day while he looked for work, found a job with a construction company, not great pay, but decent, enough to support them. The house on Flores Street sat empty. Diego couldn't bring himself to go back there, couldn't stand to see the place where his mother had suffered. He talked to a lawyer about the deed, about getting it transferred to his mother's name, about making sure Carmen couldn't benefit from it even if she somehow got out of jail. Carmen was being held without bail. The charges were serious: elder abuse, theft, false imprisonment. The prosecutor said she could face 20 years. Diego didn't visit her, didn't write, didn't send money for a lawyer. As far as he was concerned, she had made her choices. Now she could face the consequences. His mother felt differently. "She's still my daughter," Elvira said one evening. They were sitting on the balcony of the apartment watching the sunset. "I'm angry at her. hurt by what she did, but I still love her. How can you love someone who did that to you? Because love isn't about what someone does. It's about who they are. She's my child. I carried her, raised her, loved her from the moment she was born. That doesn't just disappear because she made terrible choices. She tortured you, Mama, for 3 years. I know, and she'll have to live with that for the rest of her life. Have to face what she did, have to figure out how to forgive herself. That's her burden to carry. You're too forgiving. Maybe. Or maybe I just understand that hurt people hurt people. Carmen was in pain, felt abandoned, felt like life was passing her by. She made terrible choices because of that pain. That doesn't excuse what she did, but it helps me understand why. Diego wasn't sure he could be that understanding, that forgiving, but he respected his mother's ability to find compassion even for someone who had wronged her so deeply. A week later, Elvira asked Diego to take her to visit Carmen in jail. "Are you sure?" he asked. "I need to see her, need to talk to her, need to start the process of figuring out what comes next. What if she doesn't want to see you? Then I'll leave, but I have to try." They drove to the county jail on a grey Tuesday morning, signed in, waited in the visitors' area. Eventually Carmen was brought out. She looked terrible. The expensive clothes were gone, replaced with an orange jumpsuit. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. No makeup, no jewelry. She looked young, vulnerable, like the girl Diego remembered from childhood. She sat down across from them, separated by a thick piece of glass, picked up the phone. Elvira picked up the phone on her side. "Mama," Carmen said. Her voice broke on the word. "Hello, mija. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to. I can't. I know. You don't. You can't. What I did to you was unforgivable. I know that. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry, that I wish I could take it back, that I hate myself for what I did." "I forgive you," Elvira said simply. Carmen stared at her. "What? I forgive you. It doesn't mean what you did was okay. It doesn't mean there won't be consequences. But I forgive you, because you're my daughter, and I love you, and I understand that you were hurting." Carmen started crying, big, ugly, broken sobs. "How can you forgive me? After what I did, how? Because holding on to anger will only hurt me more. And I've been hurt enough. I want to heal, and I can't heal if I'm carrying hatred for you." They talked for 30 more minutes. Elvira asked about Carmen's conditions in jail, if she needed anything, if she had a lawyer. Diego watched, amazed. His mother, who had been locked in a room for 3 years, was asking her captor if she needed anything. When the visit ended, they drove home in silence. Diego didn't know what to say, didn't understand how his mother could be so compassionate, so forgiving. "You think I'm weak," Elvira said, as they pulled into the apartment parking lot. "No, I think you're stronger than I could ever be. Forgiveness isn't for her, Diego. It's for me. I can't carry that hate. It's too heavy. It would destroy me. So I'm letting it go, choosing to move forward instead of staying stuck in what happened. I don't know if I can do that. That's okay. You don't have to forgive her. You have your own path, your own process. But don't let what she did define the rest of your life. Don't let it turn you into someone hard and bitter." Diego thought about that, about the anger he had been carrying since he found his mother in that room, about the rage that burned in his chest every time he thought about Carmen. Was he going to carry that forever? Let it poison him? Let it define who he became? Or was he going to find a way to let it go, to move forward? He didn't know yet, but he was willing to try. 6 months later, Diego sat on the balcony of the apartment drinking coffee, watching the sunrise. It was early, too early for most people, but he had always been an early riser. 12 years of construction work had trained that into him. His mother was still sleeping. She slept better now. Less nightmares, less panic attacks. The therapy was helping. She was putting on weight, getting stronger, starting to look like herself again. She would never be the same. The trauma had marked her, changed her. But she was healing, slowly, steadily. Carmen had pled guilty, had taken a deal. 12 years in prison with possibility of parole after 8. It was less than she could have gotten. The prosecutor had been willing to go for the maximum, but Elvira had written a letter asking for leniency. "She's still my daughter," Elvira had said when Diego questioned why. "She deserves a chance to make amends, to change. Throwing her in prison for 20 years won't help anyone." Diego still didn't understand that level of forgiveness, but he was trying, was working on it, had started seeing a therapist himself to deal with his anger, with his guilt over not being there, with the complex tangle of emotions he felt toward his sister. He had visited Carmen once, 2 months after her sentencing, sat across from her in the visitor's room, didn't know what to say. "Thank you for coming," she had said. "I know you don't owe me anything. Don't owe me forgiveness or understanding or even acknowledgement. But thank you." "I don't forgive you," Diego said. "I don't know if I ever will. But Mama asked me to check on you, to make sure you're okay. So I'm here. I'm okay as I can be. I deserve this, I know that." "Yeah, you do." They had talked for a little while, awkward, painful, but it was something, a start maybe, or an ending. Diego wasn't sure which. He hadn't visited again, but he had written short letters updating Carmen on their mother's recovery, on his life. Nothing deep, nothing forgiving, just information. A thread of connection that hadn't been completely severed. He didn't know if he would ever have a relationship with his sister again. Didn't know if he wanted to, but he was leaving that door open, for his mother's sake, if not his own. The construction job was going well. Diego had been promoted to foreman, was making decent money. Not what he made in Dallas, but enough. And he was home every night. Was there for his mother, was present. That mattered more than money ever could. He had sold the house on Flores Street, couldn't stand to keep it, couldn't imagine his mother ever living there again. The money from the sale went into a trust for Elvira, for her care, for whatever she might need in the future. Diego and his mother lived simply now, in their 2-bedroom apartment, with their simple furniture, their simple life, and it was enough, more than enough, because they had each other, and they were both healing, and they were learning what it meant to be family, really family, not just people who sent money from far away and assumed everything was fine. Diego heard movement inside. His mother was awake. He got up and went inside to make her breakfast. She was sitting at the small kitchen table, looking out the window at the sunrise. "Good morning, mijo," she said. "Good morning, Mama. How did you sleep?" "Good. Better. The dreams are getting less frequent. That's good. What do you want for breakfast?" "Whatever you're making is fine." He made eggs and toast and fruit, set it in front of her, sat down across from her with his own plate. They ate in comfortable silence. The way they did most mornings. Nothing needed to be said, just being together was enough. After breakfast, Elvira said, "I've been thinking." "About what?" "About forgiveness, about Carmen, about what comes next." "Okay. I want to visit her again, regularly. I want to be part of her rehabilitation, part of her healing." "Mama, she's the one who hurt you. You don't owe her anything." "I know, but she's going to be in prison for 8 to 12 years. She's going to come out eventually. And when she does, I want her to come out better, not harder, not more broken. And the only way that happens is if she knows she's not alone, that she still has family, that there's still hope." "You want me to visit her too?" I'm not asking you to forgive her. I'm just asking you to not give up on her completely, to leave the door open for possibility, for change." Diego thought about it, about his sister, about the person she used to be, about the person she had become, about the person she might still be able to be. "I'll think about it," he said. "I'm not making any promises, but I'll think about it. That's all I ask." They finished breakfast, cleaned up together, started their day, and Diego thought about redemption, about second chances, about the long, slow work of healing. He didn't know if Carmen deserved forgiveness, didn't know if he would ever be able to give it, but he knew his mother was right about one thing. Holding on to hate would only hurt him, would only make him bitter and hard, and exactly the kind of person he didn't want to be. So he was letting go, slowly, one day at a time, not for Carmen's sake, for his own. And maybe that was enough. Let me tell you something about the people we trust. Diego trusted his sister, sent her $86,000 over 12 years, trusted her to take care of their mother, to do the right thing, to be family, and she betrayed him in the worst possible way, took that money, took that trust, and used it to imprison their mother, to steal, to abuse. But here's the thing about betrayal. It reveals who people really are, not who we want them to be, not who we hope they are, who they actually are. Carmen showed Diego exactly who she was, someone who valued money over family, comfort over compassion, her own desires over her mother's basic human dignity. And Diego learned a hard lesson, that you can't fix things from far away. You can't replace presents with money. You can't trust people to do the right thing just because they're family. You have to show up. You have to be there. You have to see with your own eyes what's really happening. Now let me ask you something. Is there someone in your life you're supporting from a distance, someone you're sending money to, someone you're trusting to take care of a loved one, someone you haven't actually checked on in months or years? Call them, visit them,